Hello and welcome. Today, we are diving into one of the biggest potential markets out there for Bangladeshi businesses, Brazil. It is a massive prize for sure, but there's a pretty big catch. See, to get in, you have to understand this powerful gatekeeper that sets all the rules. So let's break it all down. Brazil isn't just a country, it's really a gateway to the entire South American continent. So for any ambitious exporter, it's a target you just can't ignore. But, and it's a big but, getting your products onto shelves there, well, it isn't exactly straightforward. There's a major hurdle, and understanding it is absolutely key to your success. So before we get into the challenges, let's just take a moment to look at the prize. What exactly makes Brazil worth all the effort for a business in Bangladesh? Well, as you're about to see, the potential is a real game changer. The opportunity here is something you can actually feel. We're talking about a huge population with growing buying power, which makes Brazil the perfect launchpad for the entire continent. And listen, this isn't just some theory. We are already seeing real demand. Bangladeshi products, things like ready-made garments, jute, footwear, and even light engineering goods, they're gaining traction right now. Okay, so the market is there, it's ready, it's waiting. But here's the twist in the story. You can't just approach Brazil as a standalone country. Its trade policy is completely tangled up with this powerful bloc called Mercosur. And if you want to get your goods into Brazil, you have to go through them first. So let's meet this gatekeeper, shall we? Mercosur, which stands for the Southern Common Market, is the single most important player here. The best way to think of it is as this big economic club that sets all the rules of entry for the entire region. To put it simply, Mercosur is basically a team of countries that all trade together as one single unit. It was formed way back in 1991 with one key goal in mind: to let goods and services flow freely between its members, creating this one powerful, unified market. So, who's in this club? Well, the core members are the real heavyweights: Brazil, Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay. As you can see, a few other countries are involved in different ways, but these four are the ones making the key decisions. And here's the thing. Even though Brazil is the biggest economy by far, the rules are made together. And that means even if you're only targeting Brazil, you're still playing by Mercosur's rules. So how does this club actually work? Well, like any exclusive group, there's one set of rules for the members and a totally different set of rules for outsiders. And for any Bangladeshi exporter, understanding this difference, it's everything. This two-tiered system creates two very different experiences. For members inside the block, it's like a VIP lane. Trade gets preferential treatment, it's often duty-free, and customs are smooth. But for non-members, like Bangladesh, it's more like an obstacle course. You're facing external tariffs, which means higher costs, and you have to navigate the block's complex, coordinated rules. Probably the simplest way to think about it is this. To get into this exclusive market, there's kind of like a cover charge, a fee that the members don't have to pay. And that fee has a very specific name. It's called the Common External Tariff, or CET, and you're going to want to pay close attention to this one. The CET is a single coordinated tariff that all of the members apply to goods from outside the bloc. So you can't try to find a backdoor through Paraguay or Uruguay. That tariff wall is the same height everywhere you go. Okay, now that we get the CET, we can really start to pinpoint the exact challenges it creates for Bangladeshi businesses. Let's lay them out one by one. First off, the CET makes your products instantly more expensive, right off the bat. Second, you're competing against local companies inside Mercosur that don't have to pay that tariff. Then there's this risk called preference erosion. What that means is if Mercosur signs a deal with another country, their products suddenly get cheaper, which makes yours less competitive. And if you add in tricky long-distance logistics and really strict local standards, you've got a pretty complex puzzle to solve. Okay, I know, that sounds tough, but it's not impossible. The key is to see these things not as walls, but as hurdles you can actually plan for. So how do you do it? Let's open up the strategic playbook. The first step is simple. Play to your strengths. Don't try to compete on everything. Instead, focus on the sectors where Bangladesh already has a proven competitive edge, like garments, jute, and footwear. These are the areas where you have the absolute best chance to absorb those tariff costs and still offer fantastic value to the Brazilian consumer. All right, here is a 5-step plan for success. First, and this is huge, adopt a strategic mindset. Brazil is a marathon, not a sprint. Second, Strict compliance. You have to invest in quality and documentation. No cutting corners here. Third, build relationships. Trust is your most valuable currency with local buyers. Fourth, you've got to master your logistics. And finally, number 5, stay informed. Mercosur's rules can and do change, so you have to be ready to adapt. And this really brings us to the core takeaway. One expert, Mjoin Abdin, put it perfectly. He said, understanding Mercosur is not optional but essential. This isn't just helpful advice. Knowing these rules is your fundamental entry ticket to succeeding not just in Brazil, but across the entire continent. So the opportunity in Brazil is very real, but so are the challenges. The question isn't, is it a good market? We know it is. The real question is, now that you understand the rules of the game, is your business ready to compete?